What's up, y'all? What's going on? This is your boy Youre. It is the day after Thanksgiving. I hope you had a blessed and fruitful Thanksgiving. Now we're recovering from the holiday, and it also ushers in the holiday season of Christmas. I know some of you were soldiers last night during the Black Friday. I commend you. I couldn't do it. I could not do it. Hey, that's why online shopping is going to do their thing. But I wanted to talk about some things today, and how you as a spiritual person, spiritual being first, how your reality is manifested from your belief system. In short, energy in is energy out, and how what position that you may have at this moment really just defines your reality and the challenges that you will face to authenticate yourself. In a nutshell, think about it this way. If you look back at your life in your childhood, and you look at where you were, where as you go through life you were basically educating yourself, you're receiving knowledge, you're positioning yourself for betterment of your life. And depending on what knowledge level you are spiritually within yourself, that will more or less help you decide on what position or direction to take for your choices, because we all have free will, first and foremost. But there comes a time where you'll go through seasons where you'll reap the abundance of sound decisions. There may be seasons that you may go through where you have to take a position of reflection. There may be a season of being tested. These things happen in different phases of our life because the ultimate goal is for you to have the life intended, the life that you need, not the life you want. But the beautiful thing about that is the fact that if you've done the work, you'll start to see and understand not only how you think, but you'll see your self-worth and value as well. Everything works hand in hand. So, as I went and got my coffee, because it's cold here, and I got to start my day, and this morning I got some errands. But as you know, the greatest challenge you're going to ever face is, well, number one is authenticating who you are, which means what you stand for, and the interactions of people, other human beings. And it's very, very important that you define who you are, because hey, there are going to be situations that will arise in your life that may cause you to feel alienated, that may cause you to question how you think. But just look at it like this: for every fear that you are forced to look at, your blessing is on the other side. But the most important thing is you have to change the way you think. If you think about it this way: if you have a goal or a destination that you're trying to get to, you're not going to just jump in your vehicle and start driving. You're not. But a lot of times we do. We go off of what we've already learned, only to be disappointed with the outcome that comes with it. See, that's why it's very important that you invest in yourself, invest in your self-worth, and take a position that not only is compassionate, but a position of love. However, that's why the energy that you give off, your reality, is manifested and it comes back. Some people may know it as karma. Some people may describe it as fate. But I know it as divine intervention. Think about it this way. If your destiny is to live a life of wealth, right? And I come to you and say, hey, I got this check. It's got your name on it. And it's got whatever the amount is. And I give it to you. And you're not ready. You're going to squander that. Because you didn't invest in yourself to see the worth of what is being manifested. That's the same thing that transpires with your blessings. But see, that is why it's important to discern. Because when you discern, that is your spiritual compass. If you trust your discernment, you'll never go wrong. Now granted, the devil's work is never done. And he is real. Just like angels exist, spirit guides exist, but on the same coin, so does demonic influence, or minions, or people call them as imps. And those spiritual connections are manifested through the people that you come in contact. You gotta understand, there's some people that are not supposed to have access to your life. Because if you allow them in your life, they are going to leave you in a place that has been damaged. I think it was Prince that said it best many, many years ago. Thieves in the temple. But we know in the Bible the body represented by the word temple. That's why it's important to respect yourself. You can't allow just anyone access to you, mind, body, or soul. Because if you do so, they may have the ill intentions to not only sabotage what you stand for, but they're doing it just to get you right along with them. That's why misery loves company. So my queens, I'm gonna call you out, but I call you out in love because you deserve to have the life intended. Number one thing right off the bat. See, you don't even realize that as a small child, you were set up to be sabotaged. You're saying, what do you mean, Youre? What do you mean when I was a child that I was set up to be sabotaged? You don't even realize it. And I'll explain. See, especially for little girls, society convinced you to believe in fairy tales, and they use means of illustration that one day your prince will come. Yeah, remember that? Or Snow White, or Sleeping Beauty, or Beauty and the Beast. Yes, society wants you to believe that if you don't invest in yourself, you'll get the outcome you deserve. But you and I both know that is not true. Because anything without investment has no worth, has no value, and cannot be taken serious. So let's go back in reverse, okay? I love this song. I love Synchronicity too. The Synchronicity is a very powerful tool because when you trust your faith in your higher power is, my higher power is my Lord Jesus Christ, but we all know He's one of many names. And He will use the things that are valuable in your life that resonate with you to convey messages. Yeah, because we're going to get it together. That's why when you're in your car and a certain song comes on And what does it do? It takes you right to the moment when you first connected it to an emotional trigger or experience. Why? Because it's resonating to your heart, may it be good or bad. That's actually a lesson that you haven't mastered yet. You need to go back there and listen to it. So, let's go back. Let's look at, since society wants to trick you. Now, there are lessons in everything. They are. It just depends on how the message is conveyed and interpreted. Like, for example, the Bible. You can get two people to take one scripture and they'll get a different meaning from that. That happens is because it resonates from the spirit to interpret what is being conveyed. It's not wrong. It just means the level of understanding will define it as how it's supposed to be interpreted. Alright, so let's use Snow White. Snow White is a young girl that, if you remember from the story, she was in a period, in a phase of her life where she was exploring. She was coming from a hard situation where she didn't trust herself. But she had that calling, she wanted to grow. So she went out into the world to discover the things that resonated in her. She stumbles onto the 7 dwarves. They're all different in their own right. You can resonate the seven dwarves as your emotional state of mind. Because as you know, your emotions, not one emotion is the same. The apple as you know it, you can go back to the Bible. The apple represented what? Truth. But because she did not trust herself, and she allowed her emotions to sway her judgment, because she wasn't discerning, she went on ahead and allowed that ego to convince her to bite into the truth. And the truth was so intense, she went into a sleep. We can analogize that as she went into a depression. She went into herself. She was not herself. She was in a fog. Even though the story, she was sleeping. She was in a deep sleep because she emotionally disconnected herself from those emotions, and she was lost. Now let's talk about the prince. The prince represents the one. Now, as you already know, my queens, I always say, it is not your place to go seek a man out. But the one, he will seek you out. He will see the true beauty within you. He doesn't care about the superficial, because what keeps him there is what is found within. That is why it's always important, so important, that you be your authentic self. How can he find you if he doesn't know who you are? But how can he come in? How can you attract him to you if you don't have sound mind? That's why it's important to discern. Let's go back a little bit. The Wicked Witch. Now, when the Wicked Witch looked into the mirror, she kind of reminded me of the Kardashian mom. When you think about it, kind of does. Not judging, but she kind of does. When she looked into the mirror represented her pride. Pride and ego. And all that did was foster vanity. which you're not supposed to be vain. You're not. Because if you're your true self, shouldn't the person who you really are resonate more than what you could ever produce on the outside? I mean, how many of y'all can relate to this? You have had the benefit of running into some beautiful people or materialistically sound people only to see the real them and they were ugly. And you're like, wow, how did I get here? Why did I allow this? Because, see, you had not mastered seeing your self-worth. And you actually allowed someone else to define it, which is a no-no. You're not supposed to do that, my queen. So hold space and hold in grace. Because everybody knows there's nothing more beautiful than a woman's smile. I keep trying to tell you that. So don't sell yourself short. So, society wants you to believe so much that if you don't believe in yourself, if you don't see your self-worth, don't worry, somebody's going to come in here and make you feel whole. It don't work that way. It don't. And that's why you end up being brokenhearted. That's why you feel like you got deceived. That's why, unfortunately, you may be waking up and you're like, you know what? Why is my panties on the floor and I'm laying next to someone that don't know me? And you're pissed off, and that causes you to be bitter. But in actuality, you got to take ownership on your choices. See, if you put them boundaries in your life, you can control who has access to your life. But take a position of love. Of love. Do you hear me? Of love. That means you got to forgive yourself. Stop beating yourself up. Stay out of your head. Because see, you as a physical being, spiritual being first, we know, men know, little boys don't. But we know you're always in your head. That's how you make your decisions. But the ultimate goal is to feel emotionally safe. That's why when you make choices, the last thing you want to do is have to reflect on choices made, good or bad, because of all the energy that it took for you to make that culminating decision. Just know this, if it's worth it, it'll be there. But if it ain't worth it, let it leave. Let it leave. It's not meant for you to have. That's why you got to discern. And shouldn't your environment be a position of love? That the people around you should unconditionally love you. They want the best for you. But if you don't see your worth and value, and the last thing you want to do is look at your self-worth and value through materialistic means. That is one of the biggest deceptions that people make. They think, well, you know what? I got a good job. I'm educated. I got the car that I want. But I still don't have the love needed inside. Why? Because you ain't loving yourself. Anything made from man's hands comes with an expiration date. No different than if you decide to take a position like some people, say for example, use the term, become a kept woman, you're not going to never be happy. It doesn't matter what that man brings to you. Actually, it's it's a slap in the face. Because guess what? The one that is destined to share your journey, it shouldn't matter if he's broke. If he loves you, he's going to do what it needs to make sure that you're happy, because he wants you to feel safe and believe in him. And if you believe in him, you're going to reciprocate that through your loyalty. But first, you must be loyal to yourself. I keep telling you, my queens, you can't sleep your way to the man of your dreams. That'll only give you the man of your nightmares. And it also will deplete you and put you in a place of negativity that you don't deserve. Do you hear what I'm saying? That is not your most prized possession. It ain't. Your sexuality ain't nothing. It's just a petal on the flower. The flower is you. Your most prized possession should be your heart. So stop believing in fairy tales. Stop thinking somebody's going to come along and rescue you from yourself. Only you can do that. You got to do the work. Because I'm going to tell you what happens. When you take our approach, where you running from to and fro for that thing called love, not only will you not find what you seek, you usher a doorway for the pain that is not yours. Because what you're trying to do is convince yourself that you to have a life that ain't yours. It's not. But if you want the one, and so here's the beautiful thing about your higher power. Mine is my Lord Jesus Christ. He will show you things that you need to see. He'll show them to you. But he's not doing it to hurt you. He's telling you, he's using those experiences, even if they're stark, to say, listen, I love you so much. I need you to do the work. I'm letting you see this because there is something in you that you need to remove. That's where that energy out, energy in comes back. So for example, let's look at the men that, let's say those who are dating. And hopefully you haven't gone through this. I really hope. Just say that you met somebody. He's visually appealing to you. He seems to got a balance on what he wants to do in his direction. But every time that you talk to him, he lies. He always lies. He lies to the point that he believes his lies. Or worse, he will what we call it gaslighting. Gaslighting is a term where they will tell you something to convince you that it's you, when in actuality it's them. What is happening is, what is being manifested is, God is saying you don't have boundaries in your life. And since you don't have boundaries in your life, the experience that you're sharing is you're aligning yourself with someone that also doesn't have boundaries. And if they don't have boundaries, how can they have respect? They don't respect themselves to speak their truth because they don't see that you're worth it. So you're actually serving what purpose to be in their life? Because they don't see you as the investment. You don't deserve that. You don't deserve that. Or better, you date somebody and they've got this alpha maleism. Now, first of all, let me tell you something. A real man will always handle himself in a respectful light. And for whatever the situation, he will make sound choices on how to act accordingly. But if it's a position where they're using force or intimidation to convey their position, it's because what you see is an illusion. They don't have the tools, once again, to see your worth and value. So they'll use tactics to convince you to compromise yourself. Why are you doing that? Why are you doing that? Why are you doing that? Stop doing that. It's time to reel it in. You deserve better. Oh, here you go. You'll attract a man and he will He sounds like he has a good game plan and projection on where he wants to take his life, but everything that he conveys, he does not do. He actually talks himself out of it, because really what's happening is he has challenges that he's fearful on. He doesn't want to deal with it. So he spends more time trying to convince you that he's the victim, when in actuality we have free will. It was not you're not, look, do you get what I'm saying? And that energy that is being revealed is because there's something going on with you that you're fearful about. And it could be that you're holding on to a lot of pain. So you take a position of, well, you know what? Since no one understands me until I act out a character and I raise the octaves of my voice. And don't you understand something, Queen? Let me explain something to you. Don't you realize every time that you step out your house, because we all know that the last thing you do before you walk out of your home or a place where you rest your head, the last thing you do is you look in the mirror. So you make a conscious decision of how the world is going to perceive you. But if you put yourself in a light where it is unflattering, or you're giving access to people that do not deserve that right to see you in, what you're saying is, I am fragile. My self-esteem is low. No one's getting me. I'm not being heard. So since I'm not being heard, I've got to bring attention to myself. But what you don't realize, my queen, what you don't realize, the one, he sees you. He's praying for you. He's taking the road less traveled. And he is fostering his dreams, making them a reality. But because we have free will, he's hoping that you get there too. But we can't make anyone do what they won't do. I love this song. I do. I'm sorry. Okay, I'm back. So my question to you, my queens, is this. You know 2014 is coming in. We finally almost wrapped this year up. So when are you going to see your worth? When are you going to stop chasing after these little boys with their toys, big or small? When are you going to stop fooling yourself and start loving yourself? Trust and believe the man that God has intended for you. He is going to facilitate all your desires, because he's a man. He knows what you need, as well as understands what you desire. He's going to tell you the truth. He's going to build you up, never tear you down. It's because he sees your worth. But he can't validate your worth unless you see it first. Do you feel what I'm saying? Stop. Do you hear me? Stop. Stop seeing what you see on TV as gospel. Stop listening to what you hear as truth. You gotta question, is that your truth? Because every time that you embrace what is from the outside, if it's bringing conflict in the inside, then it's not your truth. And you're misrepresenting who you are. You are a queen. regal in your own right. And trust when I say this. The one. He can't get to you until you get to yourself. So that means you got to deal with the authentication of who are you. When you speak your name, does your name come with respect, or does it come with shame? You know, that's why we feel what we feel. Energy out is energy in. You deserve to have nothing but a smile on your face. It should resonate from your heart. And as you know, God is love. He's unconditional love. But He can't change your life until you let Him in. He's just sitting there, chilling. He's saying, you know what? My beautiful child, I see you cry in the nighttime. I see you shudder in the shadows. I see you suffering with a burden that is not yours. I want to take you away from that, but I can't until you let me in. And when you decide to let Him in, you'll have the clarity that you deserve. Now guess what? When you start investing in yourself, you gotta be prepared for this. Because what's going to happen is, you know, that devil, because he is real. That's a synchronicity. The devil thinking this. The devil's going to come. He's going to turn around and he's going to shake your world up. Be prepared for that. And all your associations are not going to make sense. They're not. Because guess what? What you're going to do is see the truth. And those are the people that you need to step back from, because they're not respecting themselves. And what's going to happen is, the things that you didn't understand, you're going to start to understand. As you speak your truth, you're going to find your courage, because you're discerning now. And guess what? They're going to show their ass. And it's going to shake you up. You're going to be like, whoa, I didn't see this person. Wow, where did this come from? Because what you're seeing is their spirit. And if it's not blessed, it ain't protected. So what you're seeing is the manifestation of negative energy. And that negative energy is saying, whoa, whoa, whoa. What you doing? What you doing? Play your position. Play your position. If you don't play with your position, I'm going to make sure you do. And that's where the aggression comes out. Because you done pissed off that negative spirit. And then you're going to, and here's the beautiful thing about that. All the things that were true, all the things that you might not have never understood will be manifested. One by one, you'll see and hear the truth that you should have gotten while you were within that connect. And all that's going to do is like, okay, I see what you're about. Because you know the devil's a liar. They're going to convince you that you're crazy. But you ain't crazy. You blessed. And it's going to validate, look, have courage. Let God guide your steps. Because listen, He always makes a way when there is no way. And the more and more that you gravitate towards Him, the more and more they can't get to you. There is a spiritual binding being done, and it's going to restrict and take those things out of your life. And I'm going to show you how. Because when you are in the moments of weakness, you know what happens? When you try to reach out to those people that are not good in your life, the conversation never goes right. It never goes right. It leaves you in a position of, why did I call him? Because you ain't supposed to. You ain't supposed to. You're not yoked. Get you? You got me now? It's about the yoke. See, God is going to say, listen here, I know that you need some help, but you got to call on me and allow me to guide you. Because what he has in store for you is so sweet. Sweeter than a honeycomb. Do you feel me? The one is being made new. Because he sees his worth and power. He doesn't embrace any fears. He conquers them. Because on the other side of those fears is his blessings. And he's positioning himself to receive them. That's why when you trust your higher power, he will always position you to receive the things intended. You ain't got to worry about it. You ain't got to go seek nothing out. He going to bring them to you. But that devil, he going to do everything in his power. Everything in his power to keep you confused. He don't want you to see the truth. Because he's feeding off of your spirit. He's trying to enslave you. That's why you see this play out a lot. When a person does not see their worth, what happens is they settle. And the last thing you want to do is try to be yoked with someone that's not yoked. Now, can people change? Yes. They can. You have free will to change. But trust and believe, for everything that you have done, you've got to atone for it. So guess what? Energy in is energy out. So if you wrongfully did something through deceptive ways, unfortunately, you're going to see it again. But it'll be manifested from someone else. Or God may position you to be right up in the midst of it, but not directly involved. Why? Because he wants to make sure that your steps are validated. He's going to more or less say, look, you're weak. You're weak right now, but I want, because you're strong enough to see. I'm going to give you view of something. Take note of what you're seeing. Take note of what you're hearing. It's not going to affect you, but it's going to move you. Take the lessons as they come. That is why it's important to stay prayed up. Don't you see what's going on, my queens? Do you see it? Society, I know you ain't going to like this, but society thinks you're stupid. Society thinks you're inferior. Society thinks you're no different than cattle. You're the benefit, but, you're the investment, but guess what? They're not investing. Why do you think TV is set up the way it is? Because they see the power that women hold. So what are they going to do? The things that you know that you're not going to like, they change the packaging and slide it over to see if you accept it. Yeah. Look at music. They realize if I turned around and said what I need to say, you would tear half my face off because you're not going to stand for that. But if I give you a melody that's appealing, it softens the blow. But is it not still a blow? So stop falling for fairy tales, my queen, because fairy tales do not exist. You want to have the ultimate life that you truly need? Start investing in yourself. Start respecting yourself. Stop compromising yourself. And I tell you, when I say this, in the divine moment, in the divine time, the one that is supposed to share your life, he will be there. He will. He will. But you got to trust God, because God can't give you the blessings that have your name on it until you change. So see your worth. Love yourself. Have courage. And one more thing. Let me put it out there. For those, because I know somebody's saying, well, Gerald, you don't understand. You don't understand the road I went on. I've come from a background that was nothing but pain. It was pain. I'm tired of crying, and I've gotten numb. Some of y'all just straight up hate men, but you deal with them because you think that you inflict that pain that you feeling back on them is going to make you feel better. Actually, what you're doing is going to pay even more, because you're going against yourself. You're compromising yourself. You got to change the way you think, mama. You got to. Now, with that, I'm going to put this out there too. Because isn't the ultimate goal is to feel emotionally safe, right? You want to feel ultimately safe. But then position yourself where you can be. You understand? So what I'm saying to you, especially my queen, my black women, check your ego at the door. Check your pride behind it. And if you got some emotional trauma in your life, and you want to release yourself once and for all so you can step into your true life and true self, hear what I'm saying. Seek a counselor. Preferably one that has a spiritual background. You know? And you're saying, well, why am I going to turn around and talk to somebody that don't know me, my personal business? Because they're not going to be biased. They're in a position to help you, not tear you down. Plus, they're going to tell you the truth. Don't you think you're worth it? Don't you think you're worth it? Just try it. Just try it. Just set a goal, find you one, set up 2 sessions, and sit in there and listen to what they got to say. But when you go there, speak from your heart. Speak from your heart. And I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. You're going to turn around and feel a release. You're going to cry. But here's the irony of that. Your outer self is not the one that's shedding tears. It's the little girl inside you. Because she's happy that you're finally connecting to her. Yeah, you know her. The one that looked at the world with those beautiful eyes, shining like diamonds. That only wanted to feel protected and grow and be a positive reflection to her environment. Her. She's finally happy that she's being validated. Because when you make her happy, guess what she got? She's holding your self-worth. She's holding your value. She's tired of allowing men to just disrespect her and leave her broken. She's tired of it. That's why maybe some of y'all might be going through health conditions now, because the inner child in you is saying, you know what? You ain't respecting me. Alright, well guess what? You're going to go through something until you do. Because what's being manifested is the toxic, negative feelings that you felt from your childhood. And the way you felt in your childhood has an impact on how you act as an adult. That is why it's very important that you connect and have a spiritual relationship with your higher power. Mine is my Lord Jesus Christ. When you make that investment, truly, you can't fool yourself. That's why some of y'all are running to this day. That's why y'all not in fruitful relationships. That's why some of y'all are attracting the wrong people in your life. If your environment is only about self-destruction and not uplifting, you got to take ownership on that. You allowed it to happen. I know that's something you don't want to hear, but it's the truth. That is why it's very important that you love yourself first. Put them boundaries up. Stop allowing your environment to do whatever it wants. Because as long as you continue to do that, you'll never have the life you want. Or you want to go there, have the happy ever after that little girl was convinced existed. But it all starts with you, my queens. So you got to do the work. But guess what, my kings? The same applies. The same applies. Stop selling yourself short. Be the man that God intended, but more importantly, be the man that your lineage knows you are. You represent your family, your lineage, your heritage, your actions. So, isn't it time for you to represent? Do the work, man. Do the work. Because guess what? The people that truly love you, they should be doing it for themselves. Like-mindedness attracts like-mindedness. So stop selling yourself short and listening to bullshit. And once you start getting real with yourself, stop running from yourself, watch the blessings manifest in your life. I'm telling you, man, you can do it. You can do it. And I say this from a position of love because guess what? I too was one of those guys. I didn't see my self-worth. See, I'll never understand how I'm perceived from someone else's viewpoint because I can't see that. I resonate from inside, and even though I can see myself in the mirror, I can see myself on the screen, but it is my actions that speak the most volume. So represent, man. Represent your name. Okay? Okay? You deserve it, man. If you only knew what 2014 had in store for you, you would do it quick, fast, in a hurry. But guess what? That can't be revealed until you are authentic with yourself. Take ownership of your life. Stop giving it away to people that only want to sabotage it. Okay, y'all. I got to start my day. But as always, I say everything out of love. I thank you guys for allowing me in your life at this time, as well as because we're extensions. We all are on the journey to happiness, harmony, and peace within. So you're not alone. You're not. But let God guide your steps. You'll be fine. I'm telling you, the person you once were, don't claim. The person who you are, come to understand. Because the person you're going to be, they're relying on the decisions you make today. Okay, y'all. Well, as always, see, now he just woke up. See, he just woke up. Look, you can see it in his eye. He's tired. I gave him, he had his turkey and stuff yesterday, too. Well, as always, God's praying for you. You know I am. We're going to get there and represent 2014. Always put God first in everything you do. Bye for now, y'all. Bye.